Gil Scott-Heron, who once famously warned the revolution will not be televised, has died in hospital in New York at the age of 62. He was known to be HIV positive and had struggled with drug addiction. Scott-Heron wrote his landmark piece when he was just 18 years old, and by the 1970s, he'd become the voice of black protest culture.
The revolution will not be televised.
Poetry, percussion and politics. Gil Scott-Heron called it bluesology. It wasn't rap, something altogether more vulgar in his view, and he disliked being called its godfather. Born in Chicago in 1949, he grew up in racism, segregation and the fight for basic civil rights. His most famous work, recorded when he was just 21, was a witty and scathing critique of the white mass media.
You will not be able to lose yourself on Skag and skip out for beer during commercials because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be televised. The revolution will not be brought to you by Xerox in 4 parts without commercial interruptions.
His elegance with words should be no surprise. He wrote a novel and published poetry before having a hit and went to Lincoln University. His mother was a librarian. His father, the Jamaican footballer Gil Heron, who played for Celtic in the 50s.
This was the one that Reagan was usually in.
Through the 70s and 80s, he became a prodigy of the black left, releasing 13 albums in 12 years, although never quite achieving mainstream stardom.
His music has always remained relevant. You know, the condition of black people has changed. You know, America's got a black president. So in certain respects, things have changed a lot. But in other ways, in sensibility, in the ways that black people feel about their status, their position culturally in America, I think many things have stayed the same. And so a song like The Revolution Will Not Be Televised is 40 years old, but it still sounds powerfully resonant today.
This was the one that Reagan was usually in.
B-movie targeted Ronald Reagan and America's shifting place in the world.
Someone like John Wayne, but John Wayne was no longer available. And so
a long, dry, unproductive period of his life followed, and drug addiction that saw him in and out of trouble with the law. He ended up in New York's Rikers Island prison in 2006. But it was there that he was reborn as a musician. Approached by a dance music producer, he started writing again and released I'm New Here just last year.
I did not become someone different that I did not want to be.
Whatever he thought of today's artists, they clearly idolized him. The Public Enemy rapper Chuck D tweeted today, "We do what we do and how we do because of you."